All right, hey, it's Peter from Spin. We're here at the Spin campsite with Greg.
How you
Girl
doing?
Talk. How's it going, man?
Good. Chilling out.
You are always kind of like in the mood to stay at these festivals and hang, which I feel is very admirable. You played like till the wee hours of the morning last night, and you're up and about running around today.
I don't know really the mentality of buying a ticket to one of these festivals because I haven't done that in a long time. Like the last one I went to was Lollapalooza in 1995. So the past 2 years I've been lucky enough to when you're allowed free access and you might be able to get a free beer and maybe jump in air conditioning for a minute. It's very fun and casual. I can't imagine anyone not wanting to do it for a day.
Is it something you plan out? Like, I'm going to stay for a couple days, not going to book any shows, and just kind of hang out?
Yeah, try to. Sometimes it's scheduling is tough, but I know at Coachella this year I was able to stay 2 days, and specifically we have today off. I have to take off tomorrow. So yeah, it's nice. For these festivals, I always bring out my friends and people working on the show with me. So yeah, it's a fun thing to come out and check out the bands, and it's probably wouldn't ever get a chance to see Springsteen or anything like that. Beyond all the music, I really just love kind of wandering around, hanging out. I think it's a very fun, very surreal sort of thing.
What's the most bizarre thing you've seen at one of these festivals wandering around?
I don't know. I mean, Bonnaroo is kind of everywhere you look is something else going off. I mean, it's not even bizarre here, It's painted boobs and things like that are pretty standard. I just saw a guy with a Notre Dame T-shirt that had Taz all over it that I thought was kind of insane.
Now, the sets at these festivals for you have gotten bigger and bigger and bigger every year. The one 2 years ago here was pretty massive, and I think was one of the first times. I mean, a lot of bands come to Bonnaroo for the first time, and they end up playing to a much bigger crowd than they probably ever have before. That must have been one of the biggest crowds you had played to then.
Mm-hmm.
And coming back this year, what was it like kind of coming back and having this bigger stage, bigger setting for your
Yeah,
show?
I mean, it was cool. When we did the show 2 years ago, it was it's the Police played before me, and I played right after on a different stage. And 15 minutes before I went on, there was literally maybe 30 people standing in this giant field. So I was kind of convinced it was just going to be a really empty show, which isn't even a problem. I just thought it'd be a fun, empty show. Especially because I didn't know whether the crowd at Bonnaroo would kind of take to what I was doing, and then you're saying, it filled up and was basically one of the biggest shows ever. So I thought, to me, that summer that was my favorite festival I played, and I thought it's just a really cool response. I think at Bonnaroo you have a lot of people into a lot of different music, and a lot of the people into jam bands and the more hippie types are, pretty open-minded, or they're down to enjoy stuff. They're not down to critique things. They want to enjoy what they're getting down with. So yeah, I was very excited to come back because I was saying, I thought 2 years ago was one of my favorite festivals I played, and I knew it'd be bigger. It's been the past 2 years, every show gets a little bigger. So yeah, last night was pretty massive as far as any festival style show I've played.
When you're gearing up for a show as big as playing Bonnaroo to that size crowd, is there any kind of extra preparation that goes into it, or when you're kind of thinking about what I might play, what I might put
Yeah, a little bit. It's I never want to do anything. I never want to play anything or mix anything or use anything that I wouldn't typically use. But it's if I'm playing here, it's I'm a fan of Springsteen, I'm a fan of Al Green, I'm a fan of Snoop Dogg, I'm a fan of all of this stuff. So if they're bands that I would already sample as part of the bill, I'd like to kind of throw it in as a nod to the other people performing. So this particular show, they gave me initially a 2-hour time slot, and I've never played more than an hour and 15 minutes in my entire life. So they cut it down to an hour and a half, and that was still a long set for me. So I actually had 2 weeks off prior to this, so I kind of got down and kind of reworked my set and added some additional things. So I specifically this is one festival where I really worked on a set particular for this festival and tried to have the Al Green, tried to have Springsteen, things like that in there. There's this whole segment near the end that I never played. There was kind of a 5 to 10 minute thing near the end. It was kind of a lot of old material that I never really revisited. I did kind of a Electric Light Orchestra thing that I never do, actually a Neutral Milk Hotel thing I never do, and a Lady Gaga thing. It's hard to pinpoint because it's I don't know, with last night's set probably went through maybe 300 or 400 samples, so it's maybe 10% of those were new to this particular set.
Did you have a way of tallying that? Or is it just in your brain?
But
it's
I kind of
400 is a lot of things
right.
to keep track
I
of.
do have kind of a tally because it's it's hard to explain, but I have 8 loops running into each mixer, and each of those loops constitutes almost one segment. So it's usually a melody with a vocal with a beat is a part of those 8 loops, and then the next 8 loops are a new melody, and it's transitional elements. So it's in each of the templates I play will have 8 series of the 8 loops, and then how many templates I play. So last night I think I played maybe 8.
Well, what's coming up? You're going to Europe and
Yeah, doing a couple
places?
dates in Europe, going to Japan this summer. Just a lot of festivals. So the summer's pretty casual, playing a lot of shows, but no tours. Kind of like one show a week, a couple shows, just festivals. So yeah, I mean, I'm kind of just hardcore working on music, like I always am. I'm kind of in a cycle, It's never like I'm never like working on an album now and then I'm done with them. Always working on an album. But I almost am interested in spending like 10 years on an album or something. I mean, that's exciting to me.
Yeah.
Like the time frames and the organization of music is kind of funny to me. Like you're supposed to play for X amount of minutes and you're supposed to put out an album at all these times and it's supposed to run 45 minutes because that's like half the length of a CD. There's all this like arbitrary stuff that you're supposed to adhere to. So not that I'm saying I think like doing an album in 10 years would be like breaking down that walls, but I just think there's so many different avenues. So I'm interested in maybe releasing music every day or releasing music 3 years from now. So I'm kind of interested in doing like a longer format sort of album that would be like maybe like 3 hours in length or something like that with lots of interludes and things. I would just want to make something very complicated and in a way that wouldn't be like ultimately pretentious or anything like that.
Yeah. Well, you've never shied away from pushing the envelope, so cheers to that. And congrats to the Pens.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's a Pittsburgh City of Champions 2009.
Seriously.
The Steelers, Penguins. It's a beautiful year. I honestly haven't had a better year in my life, and I feel like it's crazy though, because I mean, I really can't even articulate what it means to the city or to me, but yeah, it's a beautiful thing.
Pleasure as always. Good seeing you. Have a great summer.
Thank you.
Cheers.